The AFC North is still wide open, ladies and gentlemen. Would you believe the Cleveland Browns are just 2 games back of first place? And they play the team in first place this week. We haven't played them yet this season. That makes this a massive game. You need to know every single thing about it going into it. We've got a preview for you. We've got a special guest interview with a Steelers expert here at Chat Sports. And I'll tell you what the Cleveland Browns need to do to fix their offense and win this football game. Welcome in the Browns Report, everybody. I am your host, Joey O'Donohue. And we are also in a subscriber battle this week, our Week 6 sub battle with the Steelers Talk channel. We have a slight lead in the sub battle, folks. 686 new subs for us this week. Shout out to you guys. We super appreciate you. The Steelers channel has 657. We need to bury this lead before Sunday, folks. So hit that subscribe button just to beat those Steelers fans, to show that Browns fans do it better. And without further ado, let's get into this preview interview video that I mentioned with our Steelers host, Jack. Joining us live on the Browns Report is our Steelers expert, Steelers Talk host, Jack Sperry. Jack, thank you so much for being with us here today. Obviously, division matchup going on here. It's a shame because I like this guy, and then he always comes over here talking about the Steelers, and we just have to have that rivalry. But no, thank you for joining us. How you feeling so far?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty darn good. Thanks for having me on the show today.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think the first thing that Browns fans might be wanting to know from a Steelers insider, what would you say the Pittsburgh Steelers' biggest weakness is? Maybe something Cleveland would be able to exploit.
Well, I'd say right now it's probably left tackle Broderick Jones. Broderick was a first-round pick a couple years back. Steelers traded up for him. Played his first few years at right tackle, and he wasn't very good over there, so they moved him over to left tackle, where he played his college ball at Georgia. And they kind of drafted him with the intent of him being there for their future left tackle. And he just hasn't been fantastic to start this season. He hasn't been really great as a pass protector, plays really upright, so he can be susceptible to the bull rush. And as we know, Myles Garrett is one of the best edge rushers in the league, rushing left tackles, especially converting speed to power. And that's a matchup that, as a Steelers fan, I'm really worried about, because even though I think that the Steelers roster overall might be better than Cleveland's right now, I think you can make an argument that this matchup is a nightmare for the Pittsburgh Steelers and could be the matchup that could really wreck the game for the black and gold and could keep Cleveland in this ballgame. Aaron Rodgers is not the most mobile quarterback in the world. I'm sure Pittsburgh's going to do some things to try and alleviate that matchup, and maybe put Darnell Washington on a double team, use an extra offensive lineman. They've been doing some of that stuff as of late, so I don't think Myles Garrett is going to be going up against Broderick Jones one-on-one, but in those kind of few opportunities where that is the case, those are the moments which Myles can really take over this ballgame.
Some great insight right there. That could be a big matchup advantage for Cleveland. You sort of briefly mentioned Aaron Rodgers' mobility. Through the first 5 weeks, what have you seen? Give us your analysis of Aaron Rodgers' gameplay so far.
Well, he is certainly not, I would say, the MVP caliber quarterback that he once was. Moving around, making plays out of structure, outside of the pocket is kind of a little bit of the secret sauce that allowed him to be one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. He still has everything in terms of the in-structure playmaking. He still has excellent pocket presence. He still has a very live arm, extremely quick release, and he is still, arguably, top 3 smartest quarterback to ever play the game, alongside Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. His pre-snap process is excellent. He's number 1 in the league right now in average time to throw, so he's getting the ball out fast. But he's really not throwing the ball down the field, because defenses have really been playing a lot of too high safety structures against the Steelers offense this year. They're kind of forcing him to kind of dink it and dunk it and run the football. And the Steelers have had some success with that. The Steelers are number 1 in yards after the catch right now. DK Metcalf is number 1 in the league in yards after the catch. Jalen Warren, who's going to be back from injury this week, their running back, is an excellent receiving back as well. They got Jonnu Smith, who's one of the best pure yak threats at the tight end position. So the Steelers are really going to try and get the ball out of Aaron Rodgers' hands quickly, and I think that that's going to be their plan to try and alleviate Myles Garrett's impact on this football game.
Interesting. So clearly tackling has got to be an emphasis for the Browns with how good they are yards after the catch in Pittsburgh. What I will give Pittsburgh credit for is you guys are winning football games. You're first in the AFC North right now. How are you guys winning these games?
Well, I would say a big part of it is turnover creation on defense. The defense is giving up a lot of yards, especially through the air right now. But something that they've been really doing a good job of is turning the football over. They had 5 turnovers created versus New England. They created even more than that versus the Minnesota Vikings, and that's really helped them out. But also, they're playing really well in crunch time moments. All right, they played really well at the end of the game in the Jets game. The defense did not play well in that game, but they stopped the Jets 2 times in a row in the fourth quarter to set up the game-winning field goal. Then in New England, their offense doesn't really have anything going all day, and then in a clutch moment in the fourth quarter, get a touchdown pass to Calvin Austin III. And then in Minnesota, you kind of dominate that game all the way through, and then they let them back in at the end. But they're winning these games because they're stepping up in these big moments, and they're not allowing the opposing team to make these big plays when it's crunch time.
I wish the Browns had closed a couple more of their games. Who's your pick to win the AFC North right now?
I mean, it's got to be the Pittsburgh Steelers right now. I mean, I'm the Steelers host, obviously, so I'm biased, but I think right now, they've already got a game and a half head start over the Cincinnati Bengals, who are currently second. And even though they traded for Joe Flacco, I don't think anybody's really expecting the Bengals to, magically turn around their season, at least until Joe Burrow gets back, but it doesn't sound like he'll be back for a couple of months. So I look at Cleveland. I actually think Cleveland is probably the second best team in the division right now. Baltimore, they need to get healthy, but even before that, they were definitely not playing fantastically. So I think right now, if I'd have to pick, 1 through 4, I'd say the Steelers are the best team, the Browns second, probably Baltimore, and then Cincinnati might be the worst team in football right now without Joe Burrow. That's how bad their offensive line and their defense is. So, I think Cleveland is a team here that, they've got a good defense, pretty good pass rush. They can play man coverage. Quinshon Judkins is looking pretty darn good. I think Dillon Gabriel, he's not a fantastic quarterback, but he can distribute, and he can read an NFL defense, which isn't nothing. So I think that, as a Steelers fan, the team that I'm most worried about, at least at this point in the season, is the Cleveland Browns.
Wow, and it just shows you how big this game is. It's the first time the Steelers and Browns are meeting this season. Jack, thank you so much for joining us here on the Browns Report. Appreciate all your insight and your time, man.
Thanks, Joey. Thanks for having me on.
Like the video to show your support for Jack giving us his time today. If you like host interviews, to see the perspective from the other team, to see who we're going up against on Sundays, drop a like on the video right now so I know that you guys are enjoying the content when I bring on other hosts. Let me know about it and like the video. I got to tell you guys how Cleveland can fix their offense. And I'm also excited to tell you that this episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. You and I make decisions every day, but on PrizePicks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on PrizePicks, where it's good to be right. And honestly, I'm just so hyped that football is back on Sundays. All is right with the world, and I'm big into daily fantasy with PrizePicks. I'm obsessed with it because it makes all the games more entertaining. And before the Browns play, I lock in on all my players in my lineup and their player projections. PrizePicks is simple to play. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. If you get your picks right, you could cash in, and PrizePicks invented the flex play, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. And I had to go ahead and make another lineup, and I might put the bank account on this one, folks. Bryce Young, more than half a passing touchdown against that Cowboys defense. Cowboys defense has been atrocious. He'll at least get one. Quinshon Judkins, his longest rush, more than 16.5 yards. He's got a big pop every game he plays, it feels like. I love it. And then Josh Jacobs, more than half a touchdown, rushing or receiving, against that Bengals defense in a game where the Packers will probably dominate and run it more. Yeah, I love this lineup. If you want to try and make some money, I'm going to. So download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. It is good to be right. Now, you heard Jack talk about Aaron Rodgers' performance this season. Well, I got to tell you, it's not been amazing, and they're winning football games. But did you know that his PFF grade right now is 50.4? That's 38th. That's the worst out of every quarterback in the NFL. Now, I don't know if they just hate him, but PFF, they go inside the numbers. They give you grades. His is the worst of all quarterbacks right now. And the Browns' defense, on the other hand, they're still ranked second in the NFL in total defense. The Falcons are first, but they only played 4 weeks. Cleveland is first among teams who played 5 games. So that defense is still doing its job. They're still not giving up a lot of yards. They're still going to keep us in football games. And the Browns are still first in rush defense in terms of rushing yards given up per game, 75.6. That's best in the NFL for your Cleveland Browns defense, folks. So this game is 2 good defenses going at it, 2 quarterbacks that PFF hasn't graded too high yet. My question is, how do you plan to score this week? How are we going to move the ball this time? Because I'm done watching the offense that doesn't put up 20. And you got to play another tough defense in Pittsburgh. So let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, how does Cleveland fix the offense and make this a higher scoring game in Pittsburgh? Well, I say first, Dillon Gabriel has to lead. The game plan for his first start was to game manage, was to not try anything crazy, was to throw it short, dink and dunk football, nothing too explosive. I think now it's clear that this Browns offense needs a hero. We need a savior. No matter who we're putting back there is not leading to 20 points. So, Gabriel, you got to show me something. You got to go out there. You no longer have a secured start. Flacco's been traded. There's another rookie on your heels. Go out there. Be the hero now. He averaged 5.5 air yards per attempt against the Vikings. So, like I said, it was a very, very simple conservative plan. And now I'm asking you, hey, go out there and try some things. This offense needs saving. Jerry Jeudy has not been good this year. He's been dropping the ball. Doesn't even look like a number 1 like he did last year. Gabriel, you've got to save the franchise. I know it's a big ask, but you got to give us something. You have to be the leader. You're leading the team right now. You're the starting quarterback. No matter who you are going to be looked at. You are going to be given the blame. You're going to be given the credit when we win and lose. We need the quarterback to be the leader in order to score points. The Steelers know about our run game, folks, as well. So Judkins has been amazing. He's a monster. We're going to keep feeding him, as we should. But don't you think the Steelers are going to game plan against Judkins? I mean, they've had our number for a little while. They know us well. We haven't won in Pittsburgh in what feels like forever. Mike Tomlin said that Judkins is an awesome replacement, if you will, for Nick Chubb. You know, Tomlin loved to comment on Mr. Chubb, as he would call him. Nick Chubb, we absolutely love him in Cleveland. His prime was amazing. And Judkins is looking like he could be the next Chubb, Quinshon Judkins. And Chubb was so good. You know, we will pump the brakes a little, but Quinshon looks amazing. I mean, he has every aspect that you want in a running back. Vision, power, speed, burst, elusiveness, literally every quality. Yards after contact, I've loved it. I've loved it, but it can't be all on Judkins. He can't be our only player on offense producing. Teams are going to figure that out quick. So, Cleveland, do something. And this is what brings me into my last key for the offense. It's you, Kevin Stefanski. You're on the hot seat. Browns fans are screaming about your job security right now. This is your show-out game. This is your time. This is the biggest game of Cleveland's season. You're playing Pittsburgh. You haven't played them yet. You've lost to the other 2 divisional opponents already. You have a chance to beat the team that's in first in a wide-open division. I'm calling out Kevin Stefanski. Hey, Stefanski, you need a masterclass. You need to save your job. Your play calling can't be the most conservative play calling that I've ever watched in my life, where their quarterback averages 5.5 air yards per attempt. Yes, that's a real stat. You need to draw something up to shut down the noise, to calm the Browns fans' nerves, and say, hey, it's not your fault. Because this offense has not put up 20 points in however long it's been. Not at all this season, I'll tell you that for sure. So my message is, Kevin, you're on the hot seat. Show me something. Let's move the football. And this Steelers defense is going to be tough to do it against. They have 10 turnovers this season. That is second most in the NFL, only behind the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's not an easy place to go play. They're good at getting turnovers. Gabriel didn't have one last week. We're very lucky that he didn't. And, you know defensive coordinator over there is going to try and force one out of the rookie. So I think there is that element of playing it safe and not forcing things. But as we saw last week, that's not winning football. That's not a winning recipe. You've got to take shots. You've got to take chances. Cleveland lacks explosive plays more than any other team in the league, it feels like. The Steelers' defense is good. Stefanski, it's time to show why you consistently insist on calling the plays for the Browns. Why have you not given up play calling duties? Show me in this game. Dial up the masterclass that makes anyone on our offense win. Let's see it. And look, could this be an ugly football game? Yeah, it could. There's two good defenses, two quarterbacks that aren't rated high in the NFL. It could end up being an ugly one, but that means that every single possession matters. It's even more important for Stefanski to do better because we haven't even won the ugly ones this year. Our only win really was because of a miracle in the fourth quarter, a blocked field goal and an interception when the Packers had the lead late in the game. We haven't won the ugly ones. You would think that would be our recipe to win. Our defense is so good, we keep it close, but we're not capitalizing. We're not closing. We're not winning in the final drive. And last week was just a train wreck of clock management to lose the game in the last minute. So that's why I'm calling out the offense, saying, you need to step up. Our defense has been great, but clearly we can't win with the number 1 ranked defense, now number 2 ranked defense. Be the fortune teller, folks. Predict the score of the Browns versus the Steelers in that comment section right now. I want to see an exact score prediction and your winner of Browns Steelers. I think it's such a big game. I think it will be close because of how good both defenses are. And give me the Cleveland Browns 20-16. Actually, you know what? 17-16. We're not going to score 20. Hit that subscribe button, folks, if you're a diehard Browns fan and you want to beat Pittsburgh this week. We will be live for it. Join our watch party. We thank you all for tuning in. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.